Cancer, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early March 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cancer Collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the Cancer Collective in early March? It's Pisces season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer in early March. What's the vibe? What's the energy here for my good friends? There we go. Cool. So, all right. We got the Queen of Swords, which, again, this isn't a tarot deck. It's an oracle. But the way this image always presents to me, it's like, oh, that's the Queen of Swords right there. And there's a lot of really good aspects to her. But there's also some things that we might want to tread lightly with when this card's here. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the March subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this. So if you look at the image here, we have this strong divine feminine figure here. She has that big crown, kind of looks like a crown of thorns, and she just emanates this Queen of Swords vibe. Now, for those of you that don't read cards, you might be wondering, all right, well, what's the Queen of Swords? I think of a no nonsense, no BS type of energy. She's very straightforward, to the point, honest. She's great when it comes to strategy or pragmatic thinking, looking at the facts. So that's a good thing. As far as communication and talks go, this one is like very honest and very straightforward. That's a good thing. But the downside to her, sometimes those words can cut deep, right? So for some cancers in this time, whether you're dealing with somebody that's got a little edge to them, or they might be acting a little cold, a little detached, or maybe some of you are as well. There could be certain things that you're emotionally detaching from when this card shows up. But again, it could be great. It doesn't have to be bad. This is a very intelligent card. It's smart and it figures things out. So this card is great for problem solving and great for straightforward communication. So we like the Queen of Swords, but we just got to watch out because she does have an edge to her. So again, some of you might be embodying that, or someone you're connected to might be, but we're just going to let her chill out over there. She seems busy. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for the Cancer Collective. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled An Unexpected Change. Now, change affects our lives almost constantly, but sometimes it happens quicker than we expect. Sometimes it's certain areas of life that shift when we're not expecting it to. And that did seem like that was on the plate last week. So just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. And again, change isn't a bad thing, and sometimes it could be a change for the better. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So when we take this out, it's for you because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for my beautiful Cancer friends. What do we have? All right. All right. Energy a little wound tight with the 9 of Swords. And I don't want anyone getting freaked out about this card. Again, this is just what we're starting with, and it doesn't have to be you. Funny that we had the Queen of Swords, and now we have the 9 of Swords. So it seems like swords are pretty much in play here. Let's get a couple more. What do we got? Thank you. Okay. I mean, other people's energy is starting to show up. So we got our good little pal, the Page of Pentacles. So again, the communication showing up. Let's get one more here. And we'll start piecing it all together. What do we got for Cancer? Thank you. I mean, this is a good one. We got the King of Cups, a.k.a. Kyle of Cups himself without a beard. He has his little goblet. He's chilling. He's having a grand old time. So a lot of other people's energy showing up here. And again, that is one of the Cancer power cards. But we're going to have to see how all this plays together. And I'm already getting like feelings similar to what I was getting with a few other signs this week. But if you kind of look in a box, let's go through. I'll give you the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know I always like to look at the elements, and you have a nice even distribution this week. We got air, earth and water, two of which are very comfortable for people with Cancer placement. So I do like the even distribution, because if we had too much of one element, then the energy could get a little lopsided, a little wonky. And this is good because it tells us the energy is moving at different speeds. Now, when it comes to the air, we kind of spoke about the Queen of Swords a little earlier, where yes, the air element in and of itself is like very logical, very pragmatic. It's all about the mindset. It Whether it's strategy and planning or how you're processing information, air energy ties into that heavily. And it is the suit of communication. So whether it's something you want to get off your chest, something you want to address, or someone may be feeling that way towards you. But the downside to air energy, it's a little flighty, right? It's a little flaky. Like sometimes, and again, I'm not saying air signs are that way. It's just the air energy. It's always swirling. It's always moving. It could be cold and detached. So you see that little shade we have connected to the Queen of Swords. And funny how we started with the Queen of Swords, and now we have other people showing up here as well. Because here we have the Earth element. Now that represents, feelings of stability, security, routine, day-to-day life. It could speak out about money, work, finances, anything career related, home and family. So whenever I see earth, I think of the material aspects of life. The downside to earth, sometimes it can feel a little stuck. It's a very slow moving type of energy. So sometimes it can feel a little clogged up. And then boom, right here on the back end, we have your power element, we have your comfort zone, the water, the emotional realm, the inner realm, matters of the heart. So whereas like the swords, that's more of the pragmatic mind, this is about feeling. So it's like heart and mind, heart and mind. Now, when it comes to water, that could be emotional states in general. It could be things or people that you care deeply for. It could be emotional investment. It could be creativity. So whether it's creative problem solving or you get the creative juices flowing, I like water for that. The downside to water is that it's always shifting and moving. There's some other signs that deal with that in a difficult way, but as a Cancer, you're used to this energy. So I don't think it's an issue for you. But water is very hard to pin down. But let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the Nine of Swords. Now, I always say this is one of those cards you don't really need to be an expert in tarot to understand it. When we see this individual, they're sitting up in bed, they got the face in the hands, they look like they're stressing out quite a bit. Right? So obviously, this could be stress, anxiety levels, not just at nighttime, but there could be something about nighttime that we want to look into further. So I think of anxiety levels, stress levels, overthinking, dwelling. These are things to watch out for in this time with the Nine of Swords. Now, for some of you, maybe you just need a little more sleep. Maybe you're a little more tired than you normally are. Maybe your energy levels are a little down. This card isn't all bad. It's not all challenges, even though it can be a warning, and we'll look into it further. The good aspect of this, if you want to call it that, is that it ties heavily into spiritual energetic sensitivity, especially with all these people we've been picking up. Just know if you're energy sensitive, you could be influenced by the energy of those around you or people you're energetically connected to here. This can also deal with sleep and dreams. So you might be getting some very interesting dreams or very vivid dreams when this card is here. And it does deal with paranormal things as well. So you might be seeing things out of the corner of your eye. Now, moving to the middle, and we'll definitely circle back on this, but we have the Page of Pentacles, which is pretty cool to me. I like the Page of Pentacles. I like all pages. They're all students and they're all messengers. So there could be certain things or certain information that you're trying to learn, or new hobbies, new tasks, new things, new outlooks. That's always a great thing when it comes to the pages. Specifically, the Page of Pentacles, it's good with processing information. So like when I see the Nine of Swords and the Page of Pentacles, there is this little warning about information overload. So make sure you're not overwhelming yourself on the internet and stuff like that. Now, this card in particular does deal heavily with messages and talks. So we're going to want to see, like, is there a conversation of importance that we want to look at potentially with this page? Now, what's the downside with the Page of Pentacles? Sometimes this is an energy that gets cold feet, where it wants to do something, but then maybe not, or maybe I'll do this, maybe I shouldn't. It's like a second guessing type of energy, and it can also be shy and bashful. So we'll circle back on that page. It can be really good, though, right? Like when I see the Nine of Swords, then followed up by the page, that can be really good. Now, moving to the back end, we have one of your power cards right here. We got our good pal, the King of Cups, aka Kyle of Cups himself. Beautiful stuff. Now, again, it's not gender specific, so just know in my simplistic style, when we clarified, It might just tell us something that's coming towards you or what you might be feeling. Now, when it comes to all kings in the tarot deck, they represent control of their respective suit. So we already spoke about the water, what it represents, emotional levels, emotional investment, creativity. So the King of Cups is great. So it's like I got everything under control. It speaks about an emotional balance, getting itself together. So like when we go from the Nine of Swords all the way to the King of Cups, there's like a journey, there's a progression of getting something under control that I really like. Now, the downside, because there's always a downside to every card, don't let anyone ever tell you different. The King of Cups can sometimes lose control, right? So he could sometimes represent situations or feelings that you have that are just kind of out of your hands, or it's like, I feel this way, I don't want to feel this way, but I feel this way. So watch out for uncontrollable feelings and emotions, and there could be a warning tied into emotion. But remember, he is the fullest expression of the cup suit, so he could represent big feelings. So like when I see something like the Nine of Swords and the King of Cups, it's like, all right, these are big, big feelings. So I want to dive deeper on all the Cancer. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Cancer? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Nine of Swords. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Nine of Swords. Why is it here? Thank you. A lot of questions, a lot of what ifs. All right, so we have the Two of Swords in reverse, and these both do tie heavily into the mindset. Now, the Two of Swords is genuinely a card of, in the upright, confusion, indecision, not knowing what to do. So, like when I see it in reverse underneath the Nine of Swords, either it is like a thought I can't get out of my head. So I'm getting this like looping thought, looping thought, looping thought. That's, again, it doesn't have to be you. This could be somebody else where it's like they're like super focused on one thing, and it's like I'm on edge. So I do have like the anxious, nervous energy here coming from somebody. Okay. Two of Swords in reverse can represent information coming to light as well, and especially under the Nine of Swords. It's like, oh, did I really want to hear that? Did I really want to know that? Maybe I would have been better off not knowing that. It's like giving me that kind of energy. So just watch out for stuff like that. And I do feel for a lot of cancers, like a lot of stress or anxiety might not be emanating from you. It's like outside stimulus. It's like other people. So again, there's this really strong energetic sensitivity this week. So just be careful about protecting your energy here. And you could do that through meditation. You could collect crystals. There's a variety of ways. Prayer to really protect your energy. And I think that's very important. Let's keep moving. So yeah, we see the stress, we see all that stuff, potential information. Let's see what the Page of Pentacles has. Because I really want to get over to the King of Cups. Because remember, I was saying this could be a journey for all we know, right? Like this could start here but end there. But let's see what's up with the Page. Let's see why the Page is here. Why's the Page of? Oh, okay. It's cool. Totally different vibe. Totally different vibe. So like if this is your energy presenting itself, it's like balancing off, where it's like we have the stress induced, but then we have something that totally balances it off, because the Page of Pentacles with the Empress in the upright actually feels like exciting news. So like there's something here that makes me feel like fresh and rejuvenated. Like I feel awesome when I get this. So it's like the total opposite of this. Now, the Empress could represent mother figures. It could represent any divine feminine figure. To me, she represents blessings and abundance, cup runneth over type of energy, nurturing, loving, caring. So could the Page of Pentacles with the Empress represent words of reassurance? Very possible. If you're going through a bit of a difficult time, or somebody's going through a difficult time, maybe they need a talk of some kind, an important talk where they get reassurance. There's something here that I find very reassuring, which I think is really nice. But aside from that, it could even be exciting news coming in. So again, these could be different situations, but this one in the center feels great. It's looking great, but this one feels like it's going through one. So again, you just apply that to whatever your situation is. Hopefully, if you've been in this mode for a while, hopefully this is where you turn a corner, because I could see that happening for a lot of you. But we're just going to keep going. As far as zodiac signs, She is Taurus and Libra because she's connected to Venus. But let's keep moving over to the Emperor. Not the Emperor. I don't know why I'm calling the King of Cups the Emperor, but let's see. Let's see why the King of Cups is here. And we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So talk to me about this King of Cups. Talk to me about this King of Cups. Deciding to not say something. That's odd. So we have the Page of Wands in reverse. This energy to me feels like it's biting its tongue a little bit, where it's like, oh, I want to say something, but maybe I won't just yet. The energy to me feels like let me just hold this back for a little bit. Now, I'm a big believer that suppression not always healthy, but then again, there is a time and a place to address certain things, right? And when I see the King of Cups with the Page of Wands in reverse, it's like maybe I'll just keep this to myself for now. I don't necessarily say it's like something destructive. I mean, could it be a little bit of secret keeping or secretive energy? Possibly. But yeah, with the King of Cups, Page of Wands in reverse, it's like I feel this thing, but I'm not going to put words to it. Or it is someone keeping something in for one reason. And I do think it might serve some of you, believe it or not. And I'm a big believer in, just putting it out there. If you feel something, say something. But there's also this thing about timing that I'm picking up where it's like, maybe you could touch base with that, but maybe hold on to it for now. There's like this energy that's holding back for now. So we have this intriguing mixture of conversation. We have this intriguing mixture of other people showing up here. So I do feel like if any stress does start emanating in the weeks ahead, it could be other people messing with the energy. But this doesn't feel bad. It just feels like it's biting its tongue and saying, I'm going to say something, but not yet. Maybe I'll just hold off for now. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. So, an intriguing mixture of stuff. Again, this could be different things depending, but position number one, we have the Nine of Swords with the Two of Swords in reverse. Now, to me, this could represent information coming to light, and it's like, maybe I didn't want to know that. It's like one of those, like once you know something, you can't unknow it. But another vibe I was getting was just run of the mill general stress and anxiety. Watch out for thought loops and stuff like that. Hopefully, you're coming out, or someone, whoever that is coming out of the energy, because in the center we have the Page of Pentacles with the Empress. That's beautiful. Totally different vibe. So maybe it's a vibe switch where we're moving from here to here. This felt like exciting news or words of reassurance. So whether that's something you need, whether that's something that somebody you're connected to needs, where it's like, I just need some reassurance here, which is good. Moving to the back end, we have the King of Cups with the Page of Wands in reverse. Someone that may have wanted to address something or say something, but decides against it at the last minute. That's the vibe where it's like, oh, I want to say this, I want to address this, but maybe not yet. Worst case scenario, yeah, is it someone being a little secretive? Maybe. But to me, there's good intention behind it for some reason. So uh, please do with that what you will. Take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe communication issues are the reason behind the stress or lack thereof. But yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card here at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get through one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. There we go. Cool. Yeah, Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords, which, hello, here we are, showing up once again. Now, we did discuss the shadow side of this, and again, I'm telling you about the energetic sensitivity. It's on full display, especially with this in the shadows. And with this card being in the shadows, it doesn't just tie into what we saw here, but also the energy that I'm seeing here, where it's like I'm not sharing my stresses. I'm not sharing what's making me nervous. And for some of you, that might be the best route. Now, the Nine of Swords is an energy that will pass at some point. So that's one thing I want to reassure about in this reading, is that the Nine of Swords is not a permanent energy. It passes. So if it is a problem, if it is a situation that pops up, the Nine of Swords will flow through at some point. So it's not like a life sentence. But the Nine of Swords, again, it's high strung. So whether you're not getting enough sleep and Spirit wants you to rest and recuperate, that could be it easily. Or there is just this overwhelming, stressful type of energy that could be emanating from outside sources. So we're just going to leave it at that, Cancer. That's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the March subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight into your situation and you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The March calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the March subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 subscribers to win either a copy of the Everyday Witches Tarot, beautiful deck, or a handmade crystal pendant, which I showcase at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what zodiac signs do you get along best with? Which ones are your favorite? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.